try it. Good. Okay. Okay. So I have a colleague, a very senior person in system science, probably the most famous agent-based modeler in the world in health. And he told me his rule is never, ever build a model in front of a group, or even try to run a model in front of a group. I told him, I always build a model and run it in front of a group. And, you know, there are things that come with that territory. Okay, okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, file, new, we're going to create a new model, okay? And this model will be called ABM. So this will be called Open Population. And its time unit, ladies and gentlemen, will be years. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let me. I'm going to go put this in its rightful place, but you don't have to do the following. But I'm just going to put it so I can easily upload it for your perusal. Okay. There we go. And it'll be years. Okay. So let's say finish. Great. Okay. So there's our model. It stands before us. Okay, how do we create an agent called person? Okay, so we go to the whole model. We say new agent type, and it'll be capital P person. Why capital? It denotes personhood, personness. It denotes a set of all possible people. Okay. We're going to have cases where we use lowercase p to refer to a particular person. And this is a capital P. Okay, great. Okay, let's lend this person the dignity of a face. Okay, we're going to go add a person shape to them. Whence does that come? Yes, in palette. Pictures, and we drag in person. There it is. Okay? Some years ago, in a fit of mirth, my students, instead of adding the person shape, they added a picture of me and had me engaged in various infection activities. Okay. Great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to now introduce to this person a characteristic. Right, okay, we're going to introduce to this person a sex, and we want that sex to be either male or female. How are we going to characterize the set of possible sexes? Does anyone remember? Yeah, so we go new, and what is the choice? New, so I right click on the model as a whole and I say new what? Option list indeed. Is it capital or lowercase sex? Capital. It's denoting all possible sexes, a set of all possible sexes. I'm going to say female and male. Okay? I happen to put them in caps. You could put them in all lowercase, but you have to be consistent. So I would suggest following me, so when you type something from me, it'll be working. Okay, so female, male, you could say finish. Okay, so that denotes... Female and male is not consistent within yourself, right? You're not the set of all possible things. Say that again? Having them as a capital is not consistent within yourself because they're not the set of all possible things. That's a good point. Okay, that's a fair point. Fair enough. You could say it's kind of a category, set of female versus male. Yeah, you could put them in lowercase. I mean, I could see an argument to put them in lowercase. I could see an argument. Yeah. I could also see an argument to keep it in uppercase, since it's denoting sort of femalehood, malehood. But
since it's a label for something that has really no internal state, it used to be the convention that you'd use that all uppercase letters, just to say this is a particular discrete thing. It is just a label for a particular value. There's nothing that Pardon?
Yeah, like orange with all caps, yeah.
Yeah, orange out. Yeah, exactly. But it turns out that's just an incredible eyesore. It makes it difficult to read things. So it's, in a sense, kind of been overloaded, that convention, to say that, yeah, all right, it's a constant, it's just a capital letter. I think that's kind of a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's an oversimplification.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine a case to do it all lowercase.
So given that we're using an option list so that we don't write a string of female,
Right.
can we just agree that it doesn't matter? There's a style component to it, and it's the same thing when you're creating states in a state chart. You put them capital or not
Right.
capital.
I tend to put transitions there lowercase and states capital so I can distinguish between the two visually.
Right. So these are all conventions.
These are conventions.
So you guys might want to just follow him so you have exactly the same as what he has and you don't have any errors. But if you don't.
But if you want in your group to decide to use all lowercase, that's fine, as long as you're consistent about it.
Yeah, and the fact that you're using an option list anyway means that you can use autocomplete. And however you use autocomplete, it'll bring it exactly the same anyways. So that's a protection.
Yeah.
This sort of thing.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go now add a parameter to person that's going to be their sex. This is kind of rehearsing old ideas. So from whence does that come? Which palette? Yeah, the agent palette we're going to drag in. That's going to be their sex. And what's the type of that going to be? Capital SEX, sex, right. Okay, good. And you notice it asks for a default value. I'll put down a default value of female. But we're going to expect it to be, in most cases, provided to us. Fine. Okay, sex. Now, I'm going to introduce something that's rather different, ladies and gentlemen. That's rather different. I'm going to introduce another parameter that's going to be birth time. When were they born? It's kind of like their birth date. Okay? This is going to be like their birth date. Like many of you may have worked with admin data before, where you have people's birth date, and you have a date of the analysis and their birth date, and you subtract the two to get their age at the time of the analysis. You've seen that before, right? So this person was born in 1946, and it's currently 2016, so they're currently 70 years old, right? Okay, we're going to have similar keep track of their birth time, and this is going to be a double precision value, okay? And we could provide a default value for that, but again, we're not expecting it to really be used. Okay.
So why is that not a date?
So we could make it a date. And in fact, AnyLogic has a very detailed calendar, which would allow you from a given date to ask what day of the week it is it a holiday, reasons about leap years. So you could do that. We are going to do it as a non-date to avoid having to go back and forth converting between that and years. We want the time unit of this model was set to be years for a reason. It's because we're going to be looking up people's ages in table functions to determine what's their mortality rate or what's their fertility rate, etc. And to do that, we want their age in years. And I'd prefer to avoid having to subtract dates and then convert over to years. It's going to be a lot more mechanism that will get in the way of some of the learning. And it's, in my experience, it's not, often we don't need to use the dates. I think I've created in AnyLogic probably a couple hundred models now, and I can count on one hand the number that have involved actual dates. I just haven't used them that much. If I were dealing with opening times and closing times of clinics, is it a weekend, that I might use dates, etc. But by and large, I tend not to use dates that much. And other people may be different, but it certainly gets more mechanism involved in these examples to use dates. So I'm not going to use a date here. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're going to have sex and birth time. That's going to be an attribute of that person. Okay, how are we going to add a population of people? Where do I go? Whither do I go? Most excellent. Okay, we go to Maine. Okay, so we're in Maine. We're down Maine. How do I go and place a population of people there? Drag person. You folks are great. This is going to be called population. I know Kurt wants me to call it Australians. Do you want it to be called Australians? You want it to be called Australians? Okay. No, okay. Keep it simple? Okay. The point is, it doesn't have to be called population. It could be called people. It could be called people. Yeah, that's a perfectly fine one. Okay, it's population. Now, is that by itself a population? What do we need to do to make it a population? Yeah, let's make it a population of agents. Okay? Okay, let's rehearse those muscles. How are we going to make it so that the population sizes can be set experiment by experiment? If we want to be able to set things experiment by experiment, what's the mechanism for that communicating with the model? It's a parameter. That's right. Okay. There we go. So population size. Okay. And is this a type double int or what? Int indeed. It's an integer. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Its default value will be, ladies and gentlemen, 1,000. There we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming along. This is great. Okay, okay, okay. Excellent, excellent. So now I'd like, ladies and gentlemen, to go to the population. And let's set it, make that operational. How are we going to make it so the population size gets used by the population? Yeah, initial number of agents is this dot population size. Okay, good. Okay, great. Okay, now for their sex, we saw yesterday how we could use a custom distribution. And I'm not going to go into that again, because we saw it yesterday. I'm not going to go into it yet. Instead, I'm going to draw with equal probability from the set of all possible sexes, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to do here, we'll say random from, okay? And we will say, it's going to be random from a, yes, okay, and I should be able to do, Dylan, you should be able to tell me this. One way to do this is to say sex.values, but you should be able to say sex here somehow, because take a look at this, Dylan. Take a look at this. Look at this. You can pass it a class.
Yeah, I think you still would have to say sex.class, though.
Sex.class, which might confuse things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that adds in an extra layer of complexity.
Okay, so from the possible values of sex, possible values of sex, we're going to draw a random one, okay? And their birth time, I would like the people at time, the model starts at time 0. And when the model starts, at that initial time, I would like people to be distributed according to a certain age distribution, okay? Now, we can do this in one of two ways. We can set them to be from a uniform age distribution, or we could draw it, we could again define a custom distribution of A by age. Which would be your preference? You want to do a custom distribution? You got it. Okay. So how are we going to add a custom distribution to our model? We did it yesterday. Let's see if we can remember. Sorry? Sorry? In the palette, under agent, custom distribution, and into where do we drag it? Into person or main? Main. It's describing a sort of a feature of the overall population. So this is going to be called age distribution. Okay? And what do you think? What is its type going to be? Yesterday we saw it be options. Is it going to be continuous or discrete? It's going to be continuous actually here. We're going to treat age as a continuous quantity. And you'll notice that we can specify how we wish to specify this. We can have interval age, end, begin, end, a number of observations, or we can say the frequency of different values, okay? We're going to do it with ranges. So we'll say 0 through 10 years old. There'll be, and this is actually a distribution, so it's you can think of it as a histogram. This is going to be in terms of relative things. We're going to have maybe here 10,000 from 10 to 20. We will have perhaps so that was 10,000. We're going to have perhaps 10,500. For 20 to 30, we will have. Did I say 1,000 or 10,000? I said 1,000. Sorry, folks. I should have done 1,005. Okay. Sorry, I must have missed a 0 or something. Okay, 20 to 30, we will say 990. This is just based on some empirical data we have for our population, for the population age pyramid. 30 to 40, we will have 1010. 40, well, I'll break out of the mold. 40 to 60, we'll have 1750 people. 60 to 80, we'll have 1,500, and 80 to 120, we'll have 300, something like that. Okay, that's probably underplaying these guys. Okay, 800, fine. Okay, the numbers here are not that important. The point is we can characterize an empirical distribution. If you scroll down, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, you can preview this. And that looks a rather uncomfortable thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I fully believe that that's an accurate sample from it. Yeah. Okay.
I noticed you can upload their data.
Yes.
Yeah, just from Excel formats or.
This is loaded from a built-in database, and so you could draw it in from their database that Dylan will be covering later in this boot camp.
No, I don't use it. So.
Okay. Well, then someone will be covering it, and we're going to pick straws about who. One of the TAs probably.
Upload databases.
Yeah, you can upload it, and then you can import it into this database. Is I think how it works, and then get it. You can also read it into Excel through another mechanism that, if there's a lot of interest, I could cover in another day or two. Okay, I will show you how to draw parameter values in from Excel. Okay. Yes.
So like mathematically you wouldn't end at 10.0. One of them must be an open bracket and one must be a closed bracket.
Correct. These are continuous quantities, and so it's not that they have to be different, but yes, it's one's closed, one's open. I actually don't know this off the top of my head. I think the probability of exactly getting 10.0 is infinitesimally small, but It's surely defined one way or the other, and I don't happen to remember off the top of my head which.
I think interval start is exact, yeah, and then interval end is exclusive. I think that's how it works.
Okay.
I think that's standard.
Okay.
That would make sense because you start counting at 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise 0 would be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Would it be consistent?
Yeah. Okay. So good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, having defined the age distribution, now for the population. We're going to go back to the population, and we're going to draw the birth time for the population from the age distribution. Okay? So the idea is if people are currently at age X and it's time 0, so mark my words, if it's time 0 and people are currently X years old, when must they have been born? If it's time 0 and they're 1 year old, when were they born? -1. If they're 10 years old now and it's time 0, when would they be born? -10. If they're 50 years old now and it's time 0, when must they have been born? -50. So the birth time here is going to be minus this age distribution. Okay? There, I put this in. Okay?
So if you wanted to say, like, you want to add years in there, you would say that's a age distribution.
So, if you wanted to start at a certain year,
Yeah.
I can show you where to do that. Okay? Let's get this running, and I'll show you where to do that. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, question.
Can you show us the table again, please?
Sure. The numbers in the table are not of great significance. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, I went up like that until 40 to 60 was the first 20-year interval. And, I mean, these numbers are
That's ridiculous. I had an extra column that I now can't get rid of.
oh, you mean an extra row?
Yeah.
You mean, yeah, I think it went down like this.
Yeah, no, I had an extra row.
And you have something like this, and you can't get rid of it? Yeah, I know the situation. I think that ends up disappearing automatically. If you come back to it, I think it may disappear automatically. There it is. It's gone. Ta-da. Okay. So yes, when you're entering it, Joe, it'll put that in, and if you just click around here, it'll stick. But then if you go out of it and you come back into it, it disappears. Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh! I just did a bad thing. Okay. There we go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's run this model. Let's run it. Okay. There we go. And let's go look at this population. Okay, here's people at different ages. Birth time minus. Okay, so it's drawing from the distribution. Male and female is also being distributed, okay? We're seeing a variety of ages, etc. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, question. Oh, TS? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, who else needs TA help? Okay. Alan, can we get you over here?
So a few hands came up.
So Tom. Who else needs TA help? Okay. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about done with this. We're going to have a washroom break.
And you have 3 open brackets. Delete one of those to
Population.
I just remember parentheses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can
Okay.
put 0, 1, 0. it without running.
Okay, who else needs help? Okay, help needed over Roberto?
When I tried to autocomplete,
Yeah?
this age distribution,
Yeah?
it didn't seem to give me the correct.
Okay, so there should be two choices like this.
Oh, I chose a custom. I was actually double.
Yeah. This is kind of like you're providing the whole distribution. This is actually drawing from it.
Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about done here with adding age in. Okay, so we're going to go now do something we've never done before. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to add into person a new type of thing, which is function. Ante, was there help needed over there? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to person, and we're going to provide a way to ask this person what their current age is. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if the current time is 2016 and someone was born in 2006, how old would they be? 10 years old. So the current time minus their birth time is going to yield their age. Remember, time is measured in years here, right? Okay, so we're going to, instead of typing that formula wherever it occurs, we're going to provide something called a function that's going to compute it. We just ask person, give me your current age, and they'll give it back to us, okay? So we're going to drag in a function into person from the palette, okay? And this function is going to be called current age. A function is a useful object. A function is a useful object. Do you agree, Dylan?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so how did I do that? I went to the agent palette and I dragged in function to person. Okay, and this function is going to, we have a choice. Does it just do something? Functions can perform some action, change something, or they can return a value. And we're going to say it returns a value. It's going to return their age. So it's going to return a double precision value. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, and the function body, the return value that it will give back, ladies and gentlemen, and is none other than the current time, which is, we ask, hey, get me the current time. This is a function call. It's saying, get me the time, minus, it just doesn't need anything given to it, so it's empty parentheses, minus what? What do we need to subtract off? It's 2016, and they were born in 2006, so we need to subtract from the current time, we need to subtract what? The birth time. There we go.
Sorry, Dave.
Yes?
Why is subtracting? Is it a negative number anyway?
Starts off negative for the initial population.
It starts off negative for the initial population. So if it were times 0, and they were born at year minus 50, then they would be 50 years old now. You got it? Yeah. Now, the thing that's going to happen is we're going to start people being born as the model goes on. We're going to soon have babies born in this model. And then some of them will be born later than, time 0. Some will be born at time 10, and it's now time 20, so they're 10 years old. 20 minus 10. Okay? Are we okay with that? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go take a look now. I'd like to go, and I would like to compute the mean age of the population. Mean age of the population. How am I going to do that? Compute the average over the population age. How do I do that? Where do I go? Whither do I go? Statistics. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we go to population, we go to statistics, and how do I add a new statistic to do that? You do the plus. Boom. Okay, and this will be called mean age, right? It'll be an average, and over what expression? Item. Great. Item dot what? Item dot current age. We're going to ask them, this is a function, we're going to call current age on them to get their current age. Okay? Okay. Are we okay with that? We're going to take the average over their current age. Okay, can we run it? Where would we look to find that age shown? We go to the population. Look at that. This population is doing what? They're aging. They're getting older. That's right. They're getting grayed. They're becoming the aging baby boomers. Okay. They're getting older. Why are they growing older? There's no new ones coming in, right? None. Should we have a washroom break and then we'll introduce the new ones coming in after it? Okay, great.
There's not food here yet.
There's not.
Not quite.
But it should be coming here 5 minutes soon.
Okay, so maybe I should.
Yeah, the next component.
Okay, fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us now add to the model. Sorry, I didn't mean to have a false start there. I know, that can be unpleasant. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to add immigration in right now. Okay, so I would like you. Actually, first we're going to give people a location. How do we give them a location? Anyone remember from yesterday? How do we give people a location?
When you said you want initial locations.
Initial location, yes. And where do we go for that? Okay, yeah. And wherein does it lie? Where do we specify that? It's in the population. So we're going to go to the population. It's actually not the only place we can do it, but this is the more robust one. Initial location, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say place agent in the, how do we specify it? Specify point indeed. And for the X location, for now we're just going to distribute them randomly. Babies will end up being born near their mom. But okay, ready? We're going to draw the X location from a uniform distribution between 0 and how do we do it so that it's no longer the width of the space? This dot space width. And how about for the Y location? This dot space height. Okay? There we go. This dot space width, this dot space height. Okay? I'll put it up on the big screen. This is for the Y. Okay, I think a TA help is needed over in Sector 1. Okay, there we go. That's Sector 1. Yeah. Okay.
Is this part just to make the graphics work for that when you run it?
Yeah, but we're going to need it to see the immigrants come in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Right. Okay, so let's run this. And we should see something like that. Do you see that? Do you see that? Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to have immigration occurring, okay? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to apply here, put in the palette, from the palette, I'd like to add to main a further parameter called immigration rate. Okay? Immigration rate. Now, for this parameter, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have its type be, what do you think its type will be here? It'll be a rate, actually. It could be a double. It will work perfectly well for a double. It's just a little bit nicer if it's a rate, okay? With a rate, we get to specify the units here, and we're going to say it's a per year rate. People per year, okay? Now, with rate parameters, AnyLogic came so close to greatness, but they fumbled it, unfortunately.
Actually, you can, so if you set it as a rate parameter,
Yeah.
then when you're using it,
Yeah.
you can choose the units that you're going to use that rate parameter.
Yeah, but when you specify it, it doesn't do an automatic conversion. I think we discovered that through experimentation. Yeah, you can. Why don't you go check it out now?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay. So here, I'll show you. Okay, so the default value of this will be 100 people per year. Okay, 100 people per year. Yes, we probably should put a .0. Thank you to be consistent. Okay, 100 people per year. Okay. Now this is a parameter in main. So where would we set the value of that parameter? The assumptions about the parameter. Where would that be set? In the experiment. So here you'll notice, Kurt, that this is set to be 100 per year. But if you actually specify this to be like 100 per month, it doesn't do the automatic conversion, I don't think. You could double check that. But I think that was verified by Dylan and by Scott before him.
So it's a bug.
And I think it was verified by you in Minnesota too.
So I just did 100 per month.
Yeah.
And it gave me 1216.
So they probably fixed it.
So they probably fixed it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. They did it. They did it. Okay. This is great. Trust me. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, because we specified immigration rate as a rate parameter, rather than just as a double, but as a rate parameter, when we specify its value in an experiment, we can actually choose with what units we wish to express it. So maybe we wish to express it in people per week, for example, or people per month, or people per year. And we have that flexibility within our experiment to choose the units with which to express this. And it will automatically do the conversion. So you've determined that, Kurt?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's undergone Krugerian verification. Okay, that's great. So we could say 100 people per year, but we could choose our units as we wish. You'll notice here it says the unit is per year, so it will convert it into that unit. This per year, this rate parameter will be converted into that unit. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to go, we're going to add in a new piece of machinery we haven't used before, and you'll soon be released to the food, okay? So from the palette, from the agent palette, I'd like you to drag in an event, and this will be called immigration event, okay? You'll notice I'd like to put this name like event at its end, because when I see its name, I like to know what it is. If it just said immigration, I think maybe it's a transition, or maybe it's a variable, but this actually connotes that it's an event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, an event specifies a schedule of events over time, okay? Either one or a whole series of them. In this case, and we have to choose some characteristics. The trigger type here is it's going to be going off on a rate as a rate. So this event is going to be firing, triggering with a certain rate. Now, we could make it at a timeout, and we can make it cyclic, like goes off every month on the month. But we're going to make it a rate, and the rate will be given by, guess what? Immigration rate. Immigration rate. And actually, it should be called this dot immigration rate, to be clear. It's my immigration rate. Okay? And you notice that we could specify how to interpret it. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, there's further an action that occurs here. That's the whole goal of events. They trigger an action. It's hard for me to imagine a situation where you use an event except if it doesn't have an action associated with it. There's occasion, but it's quite advanced. Yeah. Okay, so here's an action, ladies and gentlemen. And the action is going to be, we're going to add this person into the population. Are we ready to see this? Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's going to be called this dot add underbar population. And we're going to add this person into the population. Now notice, when I do autocomplete, it asks me, it says, okay, there's one type where the default values are used, and there's another type where I have to actually specify the sex and the birth of this person. Okay, birth time of that person. Why sex and birth time? What are those? Those are what of the person? They are the parameters. So in general, remember I told you, parameters serve two functions. They encode an assumption, and they communicate that assumption from the point of creation to where it's used. One of the places that things are created is in, you don't have to follow what I'm doing right now, is in the population. We have to specify the values to be used for each person in this population. But the other place is when we create a person through an event, for example, we need to specify the values of their parameters. So here we could have a custom distribution for immigrants. What is their sex distribution? What is their age distribution? But for now, with your leave, I'm just going to say random from, and we will once again draw it from the sex dot values. Okay, that's going to be the sex of the person. I'll be putting this up, and we're going to once again, we're going to specify their age. Okay, now, we want to, they're going to be coming in over time. So it may be year 100 by now, or year 200, and they're still going to be coming in, and we want them to be of the appropriate age. And we have to specify here their birth time. So they're going to be of a certain age, and their birth time will be given by, if they're that age at this time, the current time, when they were born must have been the current time minus their age. So it's going to be time minus a draw from age distribution. So if it's currently year 0, then time is going to be 0, and they're going to have been born at time minus a draw from this age distribution. On the other hand, if it's time 100, year 100, and we want to draw how old they are, and it's 50 years old, they were born at year 50. So we need to subtract off. Let me go put this up, ladies and gentlemen, on the big screen. And then we'll run it, and you will be released for consumption, to engage in consumption activities. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, yeah, so you're calling this, and then there's one more. These parentheses balance these ones here. So let me make it clear why that is. You don't do what I'm about to do, but if you go look, it needs a sex and a birth time. Now, I will tell you that Java doesn't care about new lines, so you might want to do this. This is a nicer way to do it. So this is the first argument, which determines their sex, and this is the second argument that determines their age. But an even cleaner way to do it would be create a little variable, which is not a bad idea. So maybe I will say, watch this. I will do something a little bit different. I will create a little variable, say immigrants sex equals this, and then I will say, so that's just giving a nice little name for this value. And I will say double immigrants age equals, and it will draw from the age distribution. And then I will say immigrants birth time equals the current time minus the immigrant's age. How's that? And then I will put immigrant sex, and I will put immigrants birth time. Okay, it's being truculent. Okay, for reasons unknown. Let me make sure it's happy with this. Oh, it's unhappy. Immigrants. I must have misspelled it. Immigrants. Immigrants. There it is.
Autocomplete.
Yeah.
You're being called to task, mate.
No. I actually mistyped this. It's not going to autocomplete that.
You're right.
Yeah.
You could have autocompleted the other.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did, and it was not autocompleting. That's how I discovered the problem.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I stand innocent.
And,
Or I sit innocent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is one way to clean it up. I don't know if you like it more. It's just an alternative way to do it. So let me show you the two ways we did it. You can pick your poison. So you do it either the top way or you do it this way. And views will differ as to which is cleaner. So this is the other way to do it. Boom, like this. You can pick which you like better. This one maybe is a bit mysterious. There's a bit much going on here. Like, what is this? Well, it turns out it's just their sex, determining their sex. This is determining their birth time. But this itself is determining their age. And one way to make it a bit clearer is to actually give nice names to these things and then just use that. So you could pick either this one or this one. And different people will differ as to what they like.
When you generate a variable, why do you need to write 6 in front of
Good question. Because this is, so this is a variable. I'm saying, hey, make this nice little name for this value. But in order to do that, it needs to know what sort of thing is this. Well, it's a sex. It's a draw from these possible sexes. So it's a specific sex is what this gives. And so I have to say the variable contains, its job in life is to refer to a sex. This variable is a double precision value, as is this one. So you have to say that in front so it knows what it has to contain. Some languages you don't have to do that, but Java you do. You have to say this contains a sex. And it's one of the unfortunate factoids about Java.
But when I did autocomplete, the age distribution came up as the parentheses at the end was optional.
It's not optional. It's just that there's two ways to autocomplete it. One with it, one without it. They have very different implications. One without it is talking about the whole distribution, and one with it is talking about a draw from that distribution.
Yeah, so why would the whole distribution work in the same from autocomplete?
I mean, why would you use it?
Well, it's in autocomplete, it gave you one.
Yeah, so when you type autocomplete, all it's doing is guessing what you might be typing in that particular circumstance, but it's not looking at the broader context. So you've done time, bracket, bracket, which is a single number, right? You're going a single number minus an age distribution. There's no way that it's like, I can't take 5 eggs plus 3 miles. It doesn't work. But the autocomplete doesn't look at the broader equation. It's just trying to finish the word that you're typing.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing that it doesn't do that, because you can ask specific questions of that distribution and get a value from it after that little equation. So it basically says, yeah, here are the things that match what you're typing. do whatever calculation you want to do with it, and by the end of the calculation, I assume it's going to give me the value that you want. Otherwise, I'll complain. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So another way to put it is, look, there's this distribution. It's a really useful thing. You can ask questions about various things about it. But in this case, what you need is a number from it. You need to draw a value from it. And the only way you do that is with the parentheses. But in other contexts, you might want to ask other things about it. Instead of drawing a number, you might want to ask, I don't know, what its maximum value is, or what its minimum value is, or what its mode is, or something like that. So it is not smart enough to know that, oh, you want to draw a value from it. It's just not smart enough to know that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's compile, and TAs prepare for deployment. Get them over this final hump, because there's going to be, no doubt, problem. Okay, so for those for whom it build okay, so you should be able to run the model, and what you will see is this. What's going on in this model? People are coming in. Let's go see what the mean age is. Do you think it's only going to be going up now?
Yes, but nobody's dying.
Nobody's dying, that's right. Yeah, it is going to be going up. It's going to be going up less quickly, but yeah, that's right. It is still somewhat going up, yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so people are coming into our population. Australia is being peopled. Okay, great. Okay, I think, so next we're going to do birth, but that's going to be after the break. So, Jeff, what time should we be back?
10:30.
10:30, okay. Good.
I just mentioned.
I know.
That's not set to so.
Yeah. Indeed.
Sorry, 10:30 GMT plus 10.
Right. 10:30 Sydney. Okay.
Well, UTC.